video for my mom who was in transit, but Mom, welcome. And
Hi.
it's so fun. We have some exciting new movement moments today. If you guys don't know my mom, it's Barbara Postman, otherwise known as Nine Eye. And she is the founder of Movement Moments. And these are amazingly simple things you can do to help your everyday life. And she's going to share, Mom, just share a little bit with us about what movement moments are, how you developed it, and
Okay. Well, as I got older and things started getting, we all have aches and pains, and the older you get, the more you have. And I had a few issues, and I've always been interested in movement, and I started studying and researching and all that. And to make a long story short, I came up with some things that really worked for me that you can fit into your everyday world, and not necessarily, you can do them as separate exercises, but you can work on them while you're doing other things. And that's the whole trick, because you don't have to schedule exercise time. You fit the movements in, and they're really important for us. It's so important for us to move because we're so sedentary. And we have to combat all the sitting and the looking at screens and the not moving and having somebody else do, the machines do all the work for us, because we're not designed, our bodies aren't designed to act that way. We're designed to move a lot. So that's what we've been working on. Robin has convinced me to go live with this, and it's been a lot of fun. We've been doing it now since last November. So I hope you guys are joining us, maybe for the first time. Welcome. And today I wanted to talk about something I've shown before, but with going into a little bit more detail. And this is called the pelvic list, or the hip hitch. And it also has to do with standing on one leg, which I talk about a lot, because standing on one leg is something you can do anytime, when you're anywhere, and it's amazingly good for you. But you can't just stand on one leg and have it work. The trick is that what we're trying to do here is, let me just fix this. What we need to do is we need to use the sides of our hips and back, which we don't use enough, which get very tight and which we don't engage. And a lot of times when we're standing, we're leaning over like this to one side or another, usually to the same side. So if you've been leaning to the same side for a long time, one of the things I ran into trouble with was when I carried my first grandchild around a lot. I was helping out because his mother was away, and I was lugging, this kid who kept getting bigger and bigger on my right hip, all over the place with it jutting out, and I ended up with the right hip problem. So this is the way we want to do this. And as I said, it's called a pelvic list, or a hip hitch. What you do is you want to press very hard down on the standing leg. In this case, this is my left leg, and you press down on it, and you're going to push down so hard, and at the same time, you're going to lift up the right leg. But the right leg, you're not doing it with this part of your hip like this. That shouldn't move at all. And your back shouldn't move at all. The movement is all in this part of your hip, and it can be a very subtle movement. And you might not be able to get more than 1/4 of an inch off the floor. But the whole idea is that you press very hard down on your standing leg. You don't lean forward, you don't lean over with the standing leg. You make sure it's very straight down. Make sure your feet are planted into the ground. Try to think about all the corners of your feet. Believe it or not, your feet have corners. So there's a corner right under the base of the big toe, under the base of the little toe, and the outside edge of your ankle and the inside edge of your ankle. So some of you might not be used to thinking of your feet that way, but it's actually, your feet have lots of different bones and muscles and nerves, and they really are meant to connect to the ground. So connect those feet, step down straight without leaning on that to that side, and then pick up as well as you can this hip without leaning over or engaging this part of you're doing it all right here. So if you could feel that, it can be a very subtle movement. And if you do that a few times and do it slowly, you can really feel it. It's work. You do this a few times, your hips are going to feel it. So let's go up and down and up and down. Let's do it on the step again. Put that foot down. Remember to place the foot. Feel all the corners of the foot. Straight down, no leaning over to the side. Straight into the ground as if you're trying to reach the center of the earth. And now the other foot is straight, and there's none of this or anything like that. Can you see well enough that I should have worn something straighter, but
No, it's good. We can.
you just lift up that hip basically you're making your leg shorter, and it's as if you're trying to suck it into yourself without engaging your back. Your back's not doing the work, and up here isn't doing the work. It's strictly coming from here, and it takes a while to get used to it, but do it very slowly, and you realize that you're working, and both legs are working. And this is something that you can do when you're standing in line anywhere, where you're waiting for something, or you're standing in the kitchen, and you're just about any place you're standing. Or even when you would normally sit, stand up and do this instead. The other trick is you take a block or a book or something like this. This is the next step for this. And you put your standing foot on top of it. And this is better for your balance, and you can get better range of motion that way. So I don't think you can see this right now.
No, you have to put it down a little.
Is that good? So you step on it.
That looks good.
And now you start with both feet level, and you go down, and you might not reach all the way to the ground, because don't forget, none of the pushing of that hip out to the side. You don't have to reach the ground. You probably won't. And you just go down and up and down and up. And that's a different motion, and it engages more muscles, and it's harder. So that's also, you could step on a very small, anywhere. I usually do this when I'm getting gas, and there's that step up to the gas pump. And so I step on there, and I go down and up with both legs while the gas is pumping. So, I mean, if you pick times that you can do this, it's amazing how you can fit it in. And doesn't that feel like you wouldn't think it's that much work, but it is.
You can really feel it. Yeah, really feel it. Definitely.
Yeah, I found that the whole thing about standing on one leg has transformed my ability to build strength in my hips. And without, quote, working out, it really has made a difference. And I have a friend who was starting to have a lot of trouble when he was walking. After he was walking for a long time, he would get his hip would start hurting. And he started doing this, and he's one of these kind of obsessive types. So he was doing it all the time whenever he could fit it in. And his hip pain went away. People have had really good luck with this. And
I've noticed a big improvement.
Yeah, with your hips. Yeah. And as long as we're talking about hips, I just want to give one more thing. When you get up in the morning, or when you're feeling stiff and your hips are talking to you and you're a little cranky, I'm just trying to think of the best way to show this. Let me just pretend that I'm holding on to I don't have a higher chair. This is a low chair, but pretend this is the seat of the chair. And you back up from it. Let's see.
Turn it maybe the other way.
Yeah, the other way. Okay.
There you go.
So basically, you're trying to back your hips up behind your feet, and you keep your back straight. And you, again, do that thing with your feet. That thing with your feet is actually a good thing to do just about any time you're standing, to remind your feet what they're supposed to be doing and how they're supposed to connect to the ground. So you can lean over as far as is comfortable for you, and then you swing and stay behind your feet, and you swing back and forth. This is so delicious for your hips when you're feeling a little stiff, or you've worked hard and you feel like you're going to be sore, or when you get up in the morning and you need to just kind of, this is something you got to do rather than fit in, but it doesn't take very long, and you can maybe fit it in when, you'd be surprised how many idle moments, quote, you think you're really busy, and every minute in your life is taken up. But sometimes, like, you call your kid and you're waiting for them to come in, and you're standing there because you don't really have the bandwidth to do anything else. You've got, come on in, or something like that. Or everybody's supposed to show up somewhere and you're the first one. Or there's all of these moments that if you get into the idea, that habit of looking for these moments, these are the movement moments, and they're bonus moments for you if you turn them into something that can improve your mobility, your strength, and your balance, because that's what it's all about as we get older. It's really more important to pay attention to what you do all during the day than it's great to have a routine to go to the gym or to run. All of those things are terrific. But, if you're awake, how many hours? 14, 16, 18 hours a day, and you work out 20 minutes, 30 minutes, even 60 minutes or 90 minutes a day, you're losing the battle, because the rest of the time you're not moving. There's so many parts of your body that you're not moving because of our lifestyle, because we're sitting. And even when we're walking, a lot of us have gained habits where we've compensated because things are stiff and we don't use certain muscles. So these kinds of movements, moving the parts of your body that really need to be moved, will awaken those parts of their body that need to be. So I hope there's questions. Is anybody out there?
Maxine, I said hi to her. We've had several people.
Maxine, you are so loyal. The most loyal member.
Yeah, it's great. You guys, if you're watching now or you're watching the replay, let us know your success with it. Let us know how you're feeling. If you have hip pain, SI pain, obviously it takes time, but I dealt with a lot of hip pain for a long time and started doing how long. I couldn't hold it for very long. I couldn't stand on one foot very long with my hip engaged like that, but it did make it. We did this. This is a little bit of a tweak on the last. It's just revisiting, but even new and improved stuff, but it really does help. And so if you're watching and you struggle with sore hips or low backs or anything like that, this is definitely something to think about. Fit it in. If you have questions, let us know. If you have successes, we'd love to hear your wins.
Yes, come on.
Yeah, thank you as always for watching. And we are here every week at this time. If you have friends that need to watch it, share it out, tag them in it. We love to help everybody, because here's the thing. Like my mom said, you're spending all day doing something you may not even realize you're doing. But when you tweak it just a little bit, you can make every movement of the day part of your workout. And so you're moving anyway, right? Why not use it to your advantage?
Yeah, and pay attention to how much you stand on one leg and lean over on one side or the other. And usually it's the same side. And that hip is tired and getting weak and stressed, and the other one is also. So it's a matter of an imbalance that you've built up. It could be, look, I started doing this in my 70s, so it's made a difference. And it's never too late to change things and have them heat, and your body is amazing the way it responds. And the one thing I learned, and why I wanted to bring this up again, is I took a little class that had this hip hinge in it, this hip hitch or pelvic lift in it. And I realized that I've been doing this for a long time, but I've been doing it too fast. I haven't really been going slowly and paying strict attention. And that makes a difference. So take your time. It's better if you do 2 very slowly than if you do 10 fast.
Good deal.
So come back next week.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thanks, Mom. It's always fun. It's always a good reminder. Sunday, Self-Care Sunday. Take care of yourself, even in little moments of your day, right? Those of us who say we don't have time to do anything. Even
if you do one of these, pick one and just do them for a week and see how you feel.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Say just camera shy all of a sudden. You gonna say bye to everybody?
Hi,
okay.
Sage.
All right. Thank you all. We really appreciate it. We'll talk to you all soon. Hey, Connie. We'll talk to you guys soon.